Hello and welcome to the summit, everybody. My name is Ariella Indigo and I'm your host for the Multidimensional Human Experience Global Summit. So many of us are waking up now, and a lot of us are having these very heightened experiences, which often takes us a few years to be able to integrate. So we're trying to understand that, which is an interesting task in itself. And for many souls, myself included, we're now awakening to our multidimensional nature, which fundamentally changes our perception of reality and poses some very big questions in terms of what the future holds. So there's many light workers and star seeds, as we know, here on the planet at the moment, and other beautiful high frequency souls as well, helping with Earth's ascension process. But due to our heightened sensitivities, and having the awareness that in one hand we're all the same, but in the other hand knowing that we're different, it can be a struggle living in society that doesn't support or cater for our differences. And as we know, sadly, some highly sensitive souls are either choosing to leave the planet or are not able to connect with their missions due to their sensitivities and the current situation on Earth. So this summit looks to address these issues and to raise awareness about the multidimensional human, and to give fellow empaths, light workers, indigos and starseeds some support so they can get up and running with their missions and help to make a positive impact in the world. So I'm really excited to be joined today by Anrita Melchizedek, who I first connected with a few years ago now via her beautiful YouTube videos, where I've watched many transmissions and received quite a few activations now. And Anrita speaks the most beautiful light language, and I highly recommend that you go and check them out and feel the energy. They're really, really beautiful. So Anrita's the founder of the Melchizedek and Pleiadian Light Network, an ascension network offering many different programs in the forms of ebooks, MP3s, as well as vibrational energy products. Anrita is a high priestess to the Order of Melchizedek, a DNA blueprinter, author, channel, empath, star ambassador, light frequency encoder, and workshop facilitator. She's a Pleiadian starseed, and like I say, she speaks the most beautiful light language. I really love it. So her self-mastery teachings, which are overlighted by the Ascended Masters, Archangels, the Christed ETs, and the Order of Melchizedek, assist us to come deeper into integration and experience ourselves as who we truly are, which is divine love and master beings of light here in service to Mother Earth. So Anrita, thank you so much for being here, and a very warm welcome to you to the summit. And I'd like to start off, if I may, by please just asking you to tell us a bit about your own story, which I think is always fascinating for us to hear, and your own awakening journey. That would be really cool.
Well, thank you firstly, Ariella, for that beautiful introduction. And certainly it is a journey where we're deepening into the cosmic heart of all creation and coming together as one unified cosmic heart with its own challenges too, as you've certainly pointed out. Well, my journey in this lifetime, I chose a family that were spiritual in their own ways. So I went to, or attended rather, for about 10 years of my life, went to a school of Eastern thought, at the same time as also going through traditional Christian studies. So we had Saturday school where we'd be chanting Sanskrit and meditating, and then Sunday school where, kind of the usual thing that most families did back in that day. And at the same time, I had two angel friends. I must have been about 7 or 8. And for a couple of years, I had two angel friends that came and visited me every night. They were little boys. One was about my age and one was a couple of years older. Angel wings, little dove on the shoulder. The one had a little dove on his shoulder. And it was just quite an incredible connection. It felt really normal for me. And I think after that, following that, my senses actually shut down, sort of integrating into the perception of 3D reality, and just moving forward as a child and teenager through that, and going through some really wild times too, as it seems to really be a large part of all of our journeys. And then really from my early 20s, again, I started moving to...
in particular, I've noticed. Yes, we like to have fun.
And really moving outside of the box, isn't it? You know, really like people telling you what to do, or trying to control you, and we're full of our own opinions and ideas. Certainly from an early age. So I think for me, my journey really began in my early 20s when I moved into ill health. I ended up having systemic candida, and just at that stage also having heightened sensitivity to not realizing I was an empath. So I would see things, which was really the clairsentience and clairvoyant aspects. And then from there, I just worked a lot with, I moved to the UK in my mid-20s, and I studied herbalism. I worked a lot with flower and gem essences, making my own flower gem essences, ending up on a stud farm in Aston Rowand, which is sort of about 40 minutes outside of London, between Oxfordshire and London. It was just a beautiful place with racehorses. And I was guided to work with etheric veterinary teams and etheric medical teams, making up essences, working with horses. And from there, I started working with people. At that stage, too, I had reconnected to the Pleiadian emissaries of the light. So they were my first starseed connection. And from there, I moved into working also with the Syrians and the Andromedans, and that also brought about my first workbook in my mid-20s, which was called the Pleiadian Light Body DNA Activation Program. And then from there, it was a series of 36 guided visualizations going on this multidimensional journey, working initially with many of our false beliefs and judgments, and through the chakras and past life regression, inner child work, divine masculine, feminine rebalancing, Merkaba activation, traveling in soul consciousness to the Pleiades, to the Sirius, Andromeda, Arcturus, really just what was brought through and channeled to me at that time. Although interesting, I wasn't quite aware yet of this whole New Age spiritual arena, nor even where the Pleiadians came from. So much of it was just simply in remembrance. I would pick up a book and read it sideways, and I think possibly just skimming from the top to the bottom, and just that information would ignite. And I feel that's really, for many of us, it's just the awakening process is just a remembering process.
Yes.
As we activate into the dormant DNA. So we've experienced it all previously. So much of this is just ignited through particular experiences into deeper levels of knowing and remembrance. In my late 20s, so that was my first workbook. In my mid, sort of from about 27, 28, I was starting to work a lot with the Order of Melchizedek. And that then took me into also working with the rays of creation, the Kabbalah, sacred geometry, and creating also this, I thought at the time, a beautiful workbook called the Melchizedek Ambassadors Training Program, the MAT program. And that was a series of initiations, and also light body activations, DNA activations, moving into the remembrance of being a priestess myself, and just having this knowing. I actually had a lot of timelines at that stage leading into ancient Egypt, working with Thoth. It was just quite an interesting time of just remembrance and information downloading, mostly how I receive information, apart from having I guess, a high-pitched frequency ringing within the inner ears all the time, and all our other senses that activate. It's receiving it in downloads of light. So I just receive these downloads, and with it, it's just the activation of the knowing, a deeper level of knowing. So that's a large part of how I do my work. And it just sparked into deeper levels of knowing, and from there, many programs of light just came into being, working with from the Order of Melchizedek, and working also with the archangels and the ascended masters and the ray masters, and putting together extrasensory perception programs and Stargate Unity grid activations. And it's been a lot of fun. So that was a huge part of my journey. along with its own challenges. And more recently experienced my own challenge a few years ago when my children were abducted by my ex-husband. They were 3 and 5 at the time. And my ex-husband abducted them and took them to Portugal without my consent or knowledge. And it took 3 years to get them back. So that was really, it was a heartbreaking time from a human perspective, and being a mom and being separated from my kids and everything that went with it, the legal aspects, and just trying to find just a sense within, why do these things happen to us? But from the very beginning, it was a recognition of a pre-birth agreement. And there was also just a deep knowing that I would get them back. And I felt that experience, of course, although it was very challenging for myself and for my children, it has really shifted and changed my life completely too. It's taken me to such deep levels of compassion and, and understanding of so many of the human experiences, the full range of our emotions that we embrace within our Christed heart, to know ourselves as love. And also taken me really, I would say, completely out of victim persecutor consciousness, letting go of blame, really coming into forgiveness. If I have a look at that moment in time, when my kids were very small and I was in this bad relationship, there was certainly an aspect still being played out of the victim persecutor consciousness. And I call that the karmic timelines. And I think many of us are certainly familiar with karmic mates, that we choose these souls that, of course, at a higher light level, they certainly love too. But they take on particular roles, as we all do. And a lot of those roles are really experienced through the lack of being seen or heard or understood or appreciated to know ourselves as love. And of course, now where we are, as we move deep into what I call the Christed timelines, or the pathway of divine love, this is really just deepening into all these beautiful light frequencies that are available to us, largely through the unity grid of divine love, and of course through the overlighting of our beloved I Am Presence and so many of these illumined beings of light from on high. So I kind of see myself as just being able to connect to whatever core group is coming through at that time, and just deepening into bringing through whatever those transmissions may be. In fact, the story of my own children has inspired me to co-create with the archangels a beautiful series of archangelic invocations and affirmations. And the archangels are calling it for all our children, because it's multi-layered. So while it's working with our children in these beautiful energies with the rays of the archangels and their qualities, and just granting them into particular energies, and also through experiences that they may experience, which all kids do, which we all do. What happens when we get angry? What happens when we're sad, or we can't express ourselves, or mom and dad get divorced? And, so there's all these techniques and tools that are coming through, and I'm halfway through that, so I'm quite excited about it. Sometimes that divine inspiration, just when it comes through, you're up day and night. It feels a little bit like information overload. Yeah. And of course, then from, we're talking about from a planetary perspective, we're experiencing so many of the divine light frequencies through the ray frequencies, the rays of creation that pass through the solar system, the sun, onto our sacred earth through Shambhala, which is our etheric spiritual headquarters, and then into the ley lines and sacred sites, and amplified through the solstice equinoxes, and of course new moon, full moon energies. But we're really deepening now into, we're talking about the multidimensional timelines. And those are really just the merging of the parallel timelines and into the timelines of our future selves once more. The timelines of self-mastery that we have experienced in ancient Egypt and Atlantis, the Lemurian golden ages. And all of that is just deepening into levels of knowing of, and with that then greater levels of our own service work, which comes down into what is our heart's dreaming and what is our heart's joy. So very much with it, and trusting and surrendering that, there is this divine plan and we're all part of it, and every single experience that we have is taking us deep into our soul's blossoming magnificence and light.
Wow. Exciting times, Anrita, exciting times, and fascinating to hear your story. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I think it's so interesting, the different lives that we all choose for ourselves. You know, some star seeds are choosing to grow up in families that are already awakened to some level. Other of us are growing up in families where their parents are completely asleep. And you know, all of those experiences, as you say, they are exactly right for our missions. It may not feel that way at the time, right? And you know, what you said about your children and that terrible traumatic, you know, experience that you've gone through there. I too find it very interesting and very empowering that we are able to shift perspectives and to look at things from a higher point of view, and to say, okay, you know, this is happening, this is a really difficult situation, this is bringing up so much stuff. But I too, when I look back at, you know, situations that I've been in the past which have been very traumatic, from that sort of gift of hindsight, you know, once we're through it and we start to look at it from that higher perspective, and okay, you know, I've chosen this life, I've chosen these set of experiences, these relationships, you know, and all of this is happening to bring up hidden programs that I may not be conscious about to the surface, so I can really look at those and release them and move forwards. You know, you start to be able to see that gift in hindsight. Please, yeah.
Well, a lot of it can, you know, what you're talking about hindsight, then, you know, becomes observational awareness, which is really cosmic Christ consciousness, isn't it? It's whether we call it cosmic Christ consciousness or crystalline consciousness, or viewing through our master eyes, which is our multidimensional aspects. Yes. That is really half the work, because then we're in a place where we can see actually the changes that we still need to make within our own life. So we're having, you know, someone is upset us, and, you know, they're pressing those trigger points for us that may be bringing up our own anger or frustration or sadness, whatever it may be. Of course, those are just the aspects of ourselves that we're embracing and loving within our Christed hearts. At the same time, it's also to embrace those aspects of ourselves that are completely uncomfortable, rather than move into just, I can't face it, I can't deal with that, because that then, it's not going to go away, it's not going to change. Why all of this comes up is because we are the gatekeepers, we are the way showers in this golden age. And in order for us to truly be able to assist all life on the sacred earth, we have to experience the full range of human emotions. You know, how can we help someone that's in deep pain or lust or anger or rage if we ourselves don't know what it is to experience those emotions and those feelings?
Yeah, absolutely. And I totally agree with what you said, and staying the gift of being aware whilst it's happening. And okay, you've still got those emotions that you're dealing with, right? It still may be very difficult on your physical reality, but having the awareness that, okay, there is a plan here, there are reasons, you know, there is obviously a process that I'm going through, can be very helpful. And yes, we as the star seeds, as the light workers, we are the way showers, like you say, for new earth, and you know, for consciousness. So we have to walk that path first to be able to show the way.
And, you know, for many of us, that path is walked alone initially. Yeah. But it's not actually, because in the inner planes, that, you know, just from a 3D perspective, because from the inner planes, we're all connected at that higher light level. So many of the, you know, way showers and facilitators, not only are we connected through the I Am Avatar consciousness, through the awakened higher light of every man, woman, and child on the sacred earth, but we're really going to the schools of learning, the ashrams, the ray ashrams, you know, many of the temples of light, whatever it may be, and then also energetically coming together, because it's our own energy that is assisting and affecting change upon the sacred earth. And that is really what we're experiencing on so many different levels. That is part of these multidimensional realities. We go to bed and we wake up the next day with all this knowing, this information. And it's the integration, I think, for many light workers, is more the integration on this level, because it's quite easy to, obviously initially it's that stage of connecting into the energy of our higher self and beloved I am presence, and drawing upon the resonance of many of these beings of light that we've known in so many different timelines, because they're all here to support us, knowing how greatly we are celebrated and appreciated and deeply loved. And we're certainly never alone on the inner planes, and we're certainly never alone because we are really so connected to our soul and star families. But on this level, then, is to actually say, how do I integrate myself as a light worker, as a parent, as a partner, as a son, as a daughter, whatever it may be, into the different levels of relationships that we have. And that is really a large part of the challenge too for many light workers.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Anrita. So would you mind, I know there's an amazing activation that you're gifting us in this interview, and I really want to get to that. Guys, I was talking to Anrita in the pre-interview, and it's a Christed ET Light Chambers activation, which I'm super excited to receive and to share with everybody. Before we do that, Anrita, could I just ask you because you've been on this journey for a long time now, you're a real beacon of light, just listening to you, the body of work that you have brought through is incredible, and you've got a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience. And I really want to understand, while I have this amazing opportunity to speak to you and to share with the viewers, could you just tell us a little bit about what your understanding and experience of what it is to be a multidimensional human? Why is it happening? How are we different? And how can we best support ourselves?
Well, I think as part of the grand plan, as we know, it was really just the most courageous and awakened souls that where the call was put out. If you go back into 144,000 BC, where a call was put out. That was 104,000 BC. A call was put out through the multi-universe for the most awakened, multi-dimensional souls of divine love to incarnate onto the sacred planet, which we call planet Earth, onto this beautiful jewel, and to assist in the awakening process of all life on the sacred Earth. And as a planet or plane of duality, we understood that the veils of illusion would be drawn. At the same time, we would have to go through the experiences of what it is to be human, because we're not only here in form, but it's actually the recognition of experiencing the full range of the human emotions that takes us back into love. But at the same time, that connection that we've had through all the planets and stars and star councils and other orders and councils of light was to always maintain that connection. The connection for us is completely eternal. And we just deepen into it as we deepen into our own awakening and service on the sacred earth. And with it, then, we activate so many of these extrasensory perception gifts. And that's really a large part of our toolbox that we've got here. There is a sense, of course, initially when we're still waking up or not quite awake, or that sense of feeling quite different, or, people around us, not understanding really people around us to quite a degree, and maybe because of being so energetically sensitive, and so many of us coming through as empaths, and having so many of those different light frequency encodings that activate in their perfect moment. A large part of that I call the star key codes. And that's part of the work that we're going to be doing here. We're going to activate some of those star key codes through the light chambers. But so much of that then, when it happens in its own perfect timing, when we awake or awaken, is deepening into that connection that we have with God, deepening into that connection that we have possibly with so many of these star beings, whether it's the Pleiadians or the Sirians or the Andromedans, Arcturians. Those are probably the primary star core groups upon the sacred earth, although we have also got the Alpha Centaurians and the Venetians, quite a few.
I love them all. I love them. Yeah, absolutely.
And as we start to awaken, it's to know actually that all those gifts are there for all of us. It's not select. It's, we all have our own unique gifts that are immeasurable in our magnificence and light, and we certainly can't compare our gifts to others. And that's, again, also part of that beginning journey, because in that beginning stage, we're just awakening to greater levels of knowing, and we're awakening to deeper levels of our own gifts, however they may activate, deeper levels of intuition, empathy, clairvoyance, clairsentience. It doesn't really matter, but we then still working with issues of our own empowerment and issues of, activating working with a lot of our own issues, the clearing process through those perceived traumas that we have experienced along the karmic timelines to know ourselves as love. So it's then the release of a lot of those false beliefs and judgments and traumas that every single one of us has experienced, so that we don't repeat or replay the same pattern over and over and over again. And then as we deepen into that connection through commitment, it's the same as if we go to a job, we're committed to that job. In order to deepen our own spiritual connection to God, we actually have to create that time within our own lives every day. So it's the same way as we go to gym to feel well in our body, or eating right to feel good with healthy foods. We take that time to meditate, to be in nature, to really just, commit with discipline and devotion on one level. The other side, of course, is really just not taking life so seriously. Just having a little bit of play and fun.
Yeah.
So then that process takes us deeper into not only the activation of our, the dormant DNA and a connection that we have, but then we start to draw upon what are our unique gifts. What is our soul purpose? What is our life purpose? What is it that I'm here to do? And a lot of people seem to think it's an outward journey when it's really just an inward journey. And the way that works is, we just deepen into the focus of what we would like to do, knowing that it's coming from service, it's coming from love, and we will always be divinely supported, because the illumined beings connect through our beloved I am presence. These are just the higher aspects of ourselves, and the knowing that we are all one. So these wiser aspects of ourselves are just connecting then at a higher light level to the souls that would be most resonant with you, in order to either have particular experiences with, or to share your experiences with, and your magnificence and what you're bringing through in your own life as part of your life purpose. So it just keeps growing on different levels. And at the same time, what I found, as I was explaining through my own perceived challenge, which was really an initiation of light, I really do realize that it's something I hope never to experience again. But knowing that I chose it at a higher light level, the abduction of my children, because as the way showers, what we're doing is that we're taking on these levels of challenges, because not only have we volunteered to come to the sacred earth, but we really are these really brave and beautiful, compassionate, loving beings. And that's why this is such a part of the journey, is we deepening all the time into love. And we do that through having a look at what we're still integrating and loving about ourselves. That's deepening into the process of self-love and self-nurturing and self-appreciation and greater levels of discernment with it. But it's also recognizing that we take on these challenges because it's for us, it's the easiest way that we actually connect into the next level of our soul's blossoming. That it's just such an accelerated process of our soul's forward evolution, and that's why we often choose these challenges. And I'm certainly not alone in my own story. Every single one of us, as has these stories.
Absolutely.
Deep challenges, which really are initiations of light.
Yes.
That we need to experience and go through, and to understand and know ourselves as love. Yeah. And sometimes we just get a little bit lost in it, or sometimes we just need a little period of time out with it. And that's also okay, because it's expansion and integration. Yeah. And in that integration phase, it feels like you're in this eternal now moment. It kind of feels like there's not much happening, but there is so much happening in terms of what you're working with energetically, what you're experiencing on the inner planes. And that's the point when people go back into old addictions, patterns, or behaviors, because they kind of that's where they have that sense of one step forward and two steps back, rather than recognizing that point of integration is you can hold that frequency, but you have to do it. You have to do the work. You have to be committed or disciplined to say, okay, I'm going to drop that food because it's really, that it's not working for my body now. As it's moving into, lighter frequency, it doesn't want the meat or it doesn't want the dairy or the wheat or whatever it may be, or, smoking is harming my body, or drinking so much is not working for my body anymore. There comes a point when we actually have to acknowledge that those finer frequencies aren't resonant with the body unless we deepen into it as a temple of light, unless we really start to, through self-love, see our body as a temple of light too. So there's so much that is going on so many different levels that are creating that change for us. And it's really about finding balance in embracing the winds of change that are upon us all.
Amazing. You put that so well. Thank you so much. That was really really articulate and in a way that I could really understand and made a lot of sense. There was a lot of wisdom and support and guidance in there. Thank you so much. Anrita, are we ready for an activation? Is it time?
Yes, absolutely. So what I was saying, Ariella, is that because this little show that we're doing together is related so much to, the multidimensional aspects, and we were talking about a large part of it being connected to the activation of the dormant DNA, as we know, and that of course is impulse and experience in so many different ways through the ray frequencies, the light frequencies, even music and sound and color and particular qualities. So what I'd like to do is connect us deeper into the energy of the Christed extraterrestrials, merging with our Christed ET selves. As star seeds, we come from different planets and stars. And my understanding is 33% of our soul consciousness remains within the cosmic heart of Mother, Father, God. That's the monadic aspect of our soul consciousness. 33% of our soul consciousness then travels to the different planets and stars. And, we've experienced many incarnations, not necessarily just on one star, for example, the Pleiades, but we've experienced the Pleiades and Sirius and Andromeda, Arcturus, or Venus, although we certainly found ourselves back in familiar places that we call our star families and have incarnated often onto particular stars more than others.
Yes.
So this is really just a way of connecting to those Christed ET aspects of ourselves, into the multidimensional aspects of ourselves that are Pleiadians or Sirians or Andromedans, whatever it may be, and drawing those future selves back into this now to deepen our own wisdom, our own magnificence, our own light as these sacred transfiguring flames of divine love. And what the star councils are doing is they're stepping forward and they're bringing in what they call these star key codes, which is the star key codes that we activate as these beautiful souls that have chosen to step down in vibration and be upon the sacred earth in this now. They're going to bring in what they call these chambers of light, these multidimensional rectangular light grids that activate around our body and energy field. And with that, then they will bring in and activate the particular star key codes. So we'll just do a few of them, and then in between I will just speak in a little bit of light language, because I feel that's also the light language. Some people say, well, what exactly is the light language? I say, apart from the fact that there really are so many different types of light language, it's just a deeper sense of home. It's a deeper sense of activating those multidimensional light codes and star key codes and DNA and different levels of our beingness. It's really just an energetic frequency that deepens that connection and alignment that we have to God and to all the illumined beings of light from on high.
Amazing. What should we do, Anrita? Yeah.
We can just get ourselves comfortably relaxed, and I can just move into, we can start by breathing for a couple of minutes, and then we can just move into this activation. So it's just really however you feel comfortable listening to this. If you'd like to sit up or lie down, there's no particular way, just to get yourself comfortably relaxed. And of course, giving your permission for this light work or this activation to take place.
Lovely.
All right. Imoso kuyina si kaya. Ino koakia. Imoso aya. I call upon the overlighting of Mother, Father, God, and all the illumined beings of light from on high. I personally acknowledge, as I now merge with my beloved I Am Presence, the highest aspect of my soul light, in the cosmic heart of God, into this safe and sacred space. I now invoke and call upon the Christed extraterrestrials, as I ask them to come forward now, to activate the Starkey Codes light chambers of light around my body and energy field. I may experience the Starkey Codes of my highest potential, of my magnificence and light, and deepen into the connection that I have with my multi-dimensional Christed selves and the I Am Avatar consciousness of light. And so it is. Inkoso koyina si kaya, inkayino koa, imoso aya, imoso koyi kayino koa. Alpha Centaurian Star Council now come forward, surrounding me in this beautiful magenta and violet white light. As they link to me in soul consciousness, I am now placed in this unity consciousness and manifestation Starkey Code chamber of light. As this multi-dimensional light chamber activates around my body and energy field, I am taken into deeper levels of wholeness and unity consciousness as the sacred transfiguring flame of divine love, and the knowing that all is one and that I am a master co-creator to the company of heaven. I now merge with my Alpha Centaurian multi-dimensional self, knowing that the veils of illusion are lifting and that I am able to step beyond the ring passiveness into all golden ages of light in this now moment. Nosso koyi nasi kaya, no koa, no so aya, no koa. I am now wrapped in a beautiful pink and purple flame of light, through the overlighting of the Venetian Star Council. As the Venetians link to me now in soul consciousness, I am placed in an appreciation, trust, and surrender Starkey Code chamber of light. As this multi-dimensional light chamber activates around my body and energy field, I am taken into a deeper sense of the sweetness of life and the appreciation of myself and others. I now merge with my Venetian multi-dimensional self, and in this sacred reunion of hearts, I experience the Christed timelines of my service work with my Venetian multi-dimensional self. Nikono kwasi kaina si aia, ino so aia, in kaino koa. And now I experience myself wrapped in this beautiful silver flame of light. As the Vegan Star Council connect with me in soul consciousness, placing me in a divine equality Starkey Code chamber of light. As this multi-dimensional light chamber activates around my body and energy field, I experience the knowing of the divine equality of all life, in the recognition it is simply the levels of cosmic Christ consciousness that differs from individual to individual, and that all beings hold the seed of God's light. I now merge with my vegan self, sitting beyond the ring passive nights and into all golden ages of light, as I see or sense now my service work with my vegan multi-dimensional self. Kino ko akino so aki akino ko aki konomo koa. Malina si kai ko ono ko aki morsuaya. Mahio koa. No moso koa. Now I am welcomed and greeted by the Arcturian Star Council as they surround me in this violet silver flame of light. As Arcturian High Council linked to me in soul consciousness, I am placed now in this multi-dimensional awareness, this living consciousness, and interconnectivity Starkey code chamber of light. As this multi-dimensional light chamber activates around my body and energy field, I have a sense of the subatomic particles within my body putting into even smaller subatomic particles as I look through my master eyes at all of life around me. I now merge with my Arcturian multi-dimensional self. In this sacred reunion of hearts, I experience the Christ timelines of my service work, my Arcturian multi-dimensional self, and how we are co-creating this golden age of light. Imoso kuina si kaia, ino koa, imoso aia. I now experience myself wrapped in this beautiful pink and emerald green flame of light as the Antarian Star Council come forward. As the Antarian Star Council linked to me in soul consciousness, I am now placed in this wisdom, compassion, and telepathic Starkey code chamber of light. As this multi-dimensional light chamber activates around my body and energy field, I experience the ability to telepathically connect into the realms of illumined truth, and to connect to all life forms on and off this planet with my extrasensory perception gifts now activate to the maximum cosmic law can allow. I now merge with my Antarian self, stepping into the Christed timelines and golden ages of light, with the knowing of my service work, my Antarian multi-dimensional self. No so koyi nasi kaiya, ina kiyono so aia, no koa. And I'll find myself wrapped in this beautiful silver gold flame of light, connecting now to the Syrian High Council. As the Syrian Star Council linked to me in soul consciousness, I am now placed in this new earth geometries of light, Starkey code chamber of light. As this multi-dimensional light chamber activates around my body and energy field, I have a sense of the new earth templatings and geometries of light, taking me deeper and deeper into the 144 unity grid of divine love, and the knowing that I am walking this pathway of divine love as a creator to the coming of heaven. I now merge with my Syrian multi-dimensional self. And in this sacred reunion of hearts, I experience a converging of the Christed timelines and golden ages of light into this now deepening into my gifts as the sacred, transfiguring flame of divine love and master being of light. No so koina si kaya, no koa. And now I am greeted by the Andromedan Star Council as they wrap me in this beautiful golden white flame of light. As the Andromedan Star Council linked to me in soul consciousness, I am now placed in the unveiling of hidden knowledge, Psyche Code Chamber of Light. As this multi-dimensional light chamber activates around my body and energy field, I experience the ability to see into the timelines of my highest potential. Drawing to me the gifts that I wish to actualize in this now. As this multi-dimensional master being in Christed extraterrestrial. I now merge with my Andromedan multi-dimensional star, stepping into the Christed timelines and the golden ages of light. As this new light frequency spectrum activates now through my third eye and physical eyes, taking me beyond the veils of illusion and allowing me to see that which was physically hidden. Kono koa kino so aia, kaino koa kia, no so aia kia. And now I find myself connecting to the Pleiadian Star Council as they wrap me in this beautiful violet pink flame of light. As the Pleiadian Star Council linked to me in soul consciousness, I am now placed in this sacred sexuality, passion and joy, Psyche Code Chamber of Light. As this multi-dimensional light chamber activates around my body and energy field, I experience the ability to breathe love into every subatomic particle of my beingness, knowing how greatly I am celebrated, appreciated, and loved. As I merge now with my Pleiadian multi-dimensional self, deepen into this reunion of hearts, loving, accepting, and embracing those aspects of myself that may still feel unloved or heartbroken, abused, ashamed, angry, whatever it may be. As I take a moment to energetically or physically place my hands upon my heart chakra, as I say to myself, I love you. Giving my full name now. I love you. I love you. No so koina si aia. No koa. Lastly now, Brotherhood of the Light, come forward, surrounding me in a beautiful diamond flame of light. As they now place this diamond light chamber around my body and energy field, I am taken into this rejuvenation and regeneration Psyche Code Chamber of Light. As this multi-dimensional light chamber activates now, I have a sense of being able to rejuvenate and regenerate my body physically and energetically as this sacred transfiguring flame of divine love and master being of light. And now as I merge with my Melchizedek Brotherhood multi-dimensional self in this sacred reunion of hearts, I deepen into the knowing that I am this multi-dimensional master being, Melchizedek initiate of light. And so it is. As I thank all these illumined beings of light now, I ground into the crystal heart of Mother Earth, Visualizing this grounding cord coming from the sacral chakra and taking us into the energy of the earth, flowing upon the diamond-like current, connecting into the inner earth sun, golden sun within my heart, the sun, central sun, and it's not great central sun. Inkoso koyina si kaya, soaya. May the sacred transfiguring flame of divine love and master being of light, walking this path of service to Mother Earth and all her life, knowing that I am supported, loved, celebrated, and appreciated, that all is well, all is well. And in my own time now, I gently open my eyes, being fully present, looking through my master eyes at all of life around me, and knowing that I am love, I am love, I am love.
Wow. Oh, thank you so much. We're very, very blessed to receive that from you. Thank you.
You're most welcome, Mariela. So there's just been a little bit of a noise when we did that transmission, that activation. It sounds like waves.
I did hear something. I didn't know whether it was something in the background or I don't know what that was. Do you?
Yeah. No, not at all.
Okay.
It seems to have stopped now, but it was through the whole transmission. I thought maybe you were having some sort of like wave music on the background, but anyway, it seems to have stopped now. So
it's
hopefully it will sound okay. Yes.
Interesting. Yes. Okay. Yeah, because I don't think there was anything this side making that noise. So.
All right. Okay.
I will listen back on the replay, but maybe who knows? Quite frankly, what sound joined us for that? That's interesting. But wow, thank you so much. I had so many tingles around my crown chakra in particular, and just lovely energy, sort of being in different parts of my body. Yeah, it was. It was really you can tell I'm just sort of in a lovely blissful state. So thank you so much.
Yes, you're most welcome. Well, for those more energetically sensitive, they'll certainly experience a lot of what you are talking about, different sensations, feelings, kind of even with Markley's sentience, I really feel the beings physically, or so they're physically touching me, although of course they're doing so energetically, and experiencing the work through the chakras and different levels of the light work and recalibrations that we are experiencing. But what is nice there is to get a sense of the resonance, because I drew upon those star beings or star councils that are working with us most at this time. So, we can just, when those that have been listening with us can just get a sense of who they have the most resonance with from those star groups, and they can call them in and invoke them and work with them themselves, because all these star councils, along with, of course, all the illumined beings, are available to all of us. Yes. And that's just, some of us will feel it, some of us will sense it, some of us will just have a knowing, other of us will just have to trust that this work is being experienced. But it certainly is, and it's just a lovely, wonderful connection that we are able to have to deepen that multidimensional aspect of ourselves.
Yes, it was beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm sure the viewers will have really loved experiencing that as well. Thank you. That's an amazing gift for this summit. We're truly blessed, and incredible service work, Anrita, that you are doing on this planet and with your mission. Thank you so much for sharing everything that you have shared with us today. It's and I know that there's more with the free gift, with the link that I'm posting, I'm sending to everybody along with this interview. There's 100 and how many it's
I'm not even sure, at least maybe up to 150 free MP3s on the free downloads section on our website. And of course, quite a few YouTube videos. So, at least I don't really know how many there are, but there's a lot. So,
that's a lot.
yes, I think we cleared out or deleted quite a few the other day, but there's certainly a lot, of for the last 2-3 years. We've been putting up some of the more recent ones. You will find they're just quite nice this year. We've been working a lot with the temples of light, working with the archangels and the order of Melchizedek. And every year there's just been, some beautiful theme. Last year it was working with the Christ at Heart, activation of the petals of the Christ at Heart with the star councils. And before that we were working with a lot of the solar crystalline energies or pyramids of light. So every year there seems to be some beautiful theme, and all those transmissions are certainly available.
So generous of you. Yeah. Thank you so much. And for everybody watching this, I'm going to send you the link, and if you feel inspired and drawn to Anrita's energy after today's beautiful interview, please go and access those free gifts that she's got on her website. I mean, that's incredible service work and so generous. Thank you so much, Anrita. And thank you for the incredible interview.
Yes, thank you too. It's been lovely to connect with you, Ariella. It's been a wonderful interview, and I can certainly really feel the energy of all those people connecting with us. And thank you too so very much, and from my heart and to yours and to the cosmic heart of all creation. Namaste.
Beautiful. Namaste. Thank you everybody for watching. It's been just an incredible interview today. I'm sure you'll agree, and so much wisdom and insight and guidance and support, as well as a beautiful activation. So thank you to everybody for watching this. Thank you to Anrita again, and I will see you all tomorrow for another interview. Thank you and goodbye.
Namaste.